Welcome to Work Study. If you are viewing this, you may have added Work Study after our orientation meetings. So I'm going to go over the basic information that you need to know about grading, the requirements of Work Study, and how our assignments in this course work, because it's a little bit different than any other course that you've probably been in. So some of the basic requirements of Work Study are on the application form that you signed and turned in to be approved for Work Study. If you are in Work Study for 2 courses, so block 3 and 4, say, you are required to record at least 15 hours of work per week. You can certainly work more than that. And all of those hours do not have to be during the school day. They can be in the weekend in the evening, but 15 hours per week is what I'm looking for. You also need to be in school. It is a combination of work and school that you're getting credit for. So your attendance in school is required. If you're not in school on a day, you cannot work that day. If there is a legitimate reason that you cannot attend school, you've got a doctor's meeting or office visit in the morning and then you work in the afternoon, make sure that you get that approved by me ahead of time so I don't take a look at attendance, see that you're not in school, and then see that you did attend work. That becomes a really big problem. If you have any other concerns, whether it's about your hours at work, attendance at school, make sure to get in touch with me ahead of time before it becomes a problem. Communication is huge. Make sure that you either stop by my office, room 240, you email me, Schoology message me, text me. We'll talk about easy ways to get in touch with me throughout this presentation. Make sure that you contact me with any concerns before they become a bigger problem in Work Study. So speaking of communication, the best way for many students to communicate with me is by using this Talking Points text app. You do not have to download the app. You can do it just through text messages. If I were you, I would pause the presentation right here and go ahead and sign up for these text announcements. I will text reminders to you. In fact, I will text a link to you for you to submit your timesheets, which are the assignments in Work Study. I will send that link to you a day or so before the due date each month or twice per month. And most students find that to be the best way to remember when to turn their timesheet in and to go ahead, follow the link, and get it done. I would sign up for Talking Points right here, right now, to make that a lot easier. The agreements that you have already turned in between you, your parent, and your employer are in this Getting Started folder in our Schoology course. I just put them there. You don't need to sign anything again, but I put them there so you can use them as a reference to the rules and requirements. We've already talked about the required hours. There's information also about safe working environment, some of the do's and don'ts on the job site, and the evaluation by your employer. So your employer's evaluation, and that's one of the things that your employer has signed off on, is 50% of your Work Study grade. You don't have to do anything for that. I will communicate with your employer. I'll be checking in with your employer off and on throughout the semester, and at times I will ask them to give me a written evaluation of your work. Really, all you have to do is do a great job, and that should be a fairly easy part of your Work Study grade. The other half of your Work Study grade comes from reporting your hours to me, and this is really the part that's your responsibility to keep up on. Not only to make sure that you turn these timesheets in on time, but also that they are accurate and that you have recorded those hours as you've been working them all along. I will only want the timesheets, you to report those hours to me twice per month. The first half of the month, the 1st to the 15th, you have 3 days to get that into me by the 18th. And then the second half of the month, you have 3 days after the end of the month. So the 3rd of every month is when that timesheet is due. Again, I will send you a reminder through Talking Points. I will also include a link so you can go directly to the Google form where those get submitted. Talking Points is the easiest way to get those done. Submitting timesheets through a Google form Talking Points app is the best way. They're also in our Schoology course. You go to the folder, monthly timesheet folders, for example, August timesheets is the first one. Go there. It'll take you to a link to the Google form. You can submit them that way as well. We'll talk about submitting the timesheet more in our orientation meetings. If you look at the Google form, the timesheet, and you have questions, feel free to ask. Stop by, check with me. It is half of your grade, so make sure you're understanding how to do it accurately. You are not telling me that you worked from 1 o'clock to 5 o'clock. You're just telling me that you worked a total of 4 hours on a given day. They need to be accurate. The other requirement twice during the semester is that you send me a copy of your pay stub. If you are not sure what a pay stub is or how to access your pay information, make sure to ask your supervisor, or we can talk about where and how you access that. You might get this in the paper form, or you might get it by logging in to your employee account. Make sure you know how to do that. I will be asking for that in October for the first time. It's a pretty big requirement and part of your grade as well. A couple other things. Make sure you're getting the minimum wage at least. That's $11.75 right now. Make sure that you have a work permit on file with your employer. I do not need it, but your employer does. Make sure if you're injured on the job, even very minorly, that you report that injury to a supervisor right away, because workers' compensation should be covering any kind of doctor's visits, medical supplies, lost wages. Those costs are not on you. They should be paid by your employer. You should not be driving as a major part of your job. Also, if there is anything in terms of sexual harassment that makes you feel uncomfortable, the process is generally to report that to a supervisor, but that sometimes isn't really the best thing for you, or not a comfortable process. Please come and talk to me if there's any kind of unwanted actions or harassment on the job, and we will work through that. The other place that you can get forms, information, is the Work-Based Learning website, and you can access that from the Frederick High website. Ask me if you've got any questions, and I look forward to working with you this semester.